Hey, this is the Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So the live stream is what we do once a week to have a quick chat with the whole community so everybody can bring up questions and have other people in the group talk about them. Oh, are we losing internet? Have we lost internet here? Let's see. I'm going to try to switch real quick. And I'm not sure if we have any issues there, any problems there, or any kind of issues. So, hello Azimuth, how's it going? Hey Niraj, glad you could make it. Dynamic Apps, hi. No Name Land, how are you? Samuel, how's it going? I apologize today because I got a bit of a cold. About Wednesday, I just was hit with this cold, and I've just been like zapped me of energy. I'm just in those early stages of it where you don't have a lot of just don't have a lot of energy for that kind of stuff, you know. And it's I apologize about that. Even it's been difficult to do the videos the last couple of days because of that. So hey Sophia, how's it going? Hey Eric, caught one of your earlier streams. Just curious, how long does it take you to mow your lawn? It takes me about about an hour, I suppose. I didn't do that in one of the early videos. Sophia, I never actually mowed the lawn as one of my videos because it's not that boring, but it takes me about an hour, I guess. It's not, you know, I just do the bare minimum, you know, do the front lawn and the back lawn, and it's just one of these things you have to get around. I should get a gardener, but even I know if I got a gardener and the gardener was out there doing it, I would still it's not like I'd be in coding at that exact same time. So but eventually I think I will have to start doing that. Dynamic Apps, hey, how's it going? I have an app on the App Store called Speak Timer. It's not doing very well. Could you please give me some tips on how to get more downloads? The problem is that people are not finding it. Cool, have a look at that. By the way, it's the 28th. Ah, Sophia, sorry about that. I'm always changing the date on this thing. That's the one thing I always forget to do. Thank you, Sophia. Niraj, how do you find so many topics to make a video? It's really hard to think of new topics sometimes. Niraj, yes, sometimes that is the problem that I have. I wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to talk about today? And like there was one day this week where I talked about, somebody asked about what's like working in the new office, so I was talking about that, and then it was somebody else said, you're just reusing topics. But it's really hard to think of new stuff to talk about all the time. And so, I mean, it's not really that hard. I mean, it's like if you had a conversation with a friend, if you were with coworkers, you were talking about things that were app related or stuff like that, you would find topics because there's so much more. There's so many little things to talk about, and the more that we talk about, the more we can get more granular about it. So if I just did one video, or did one every so often, I probably wouldn't be able to talk about something as granular as RPM revenue and things like that, because it's just there's so many other bigger things to talk about. But when we have so much content, we could really drill down on those and talk about stuff. So I really hope that the internet's here going. So Dynamic Apps, we'll have a look at your app here, Speak Timer. I assume we're on Google Play. If you do put your app in here, make sure you put if it's on Google Play, or the iTunes. I'm assuming though it's Google Play. So I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Excuse me. Sorry about the cold. It's you know, it's just it's annoying. You know, it's like I started out the week with so much energy, and it was like just, let's see. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. So right now we are looking for Dynamic Apps. We are looking for Speak Timer. Speak Timer, Dynamic Apps. I don't see it on here, Speak Timer. So you're gonna have to help me out a little bit. Oh, it's on iOS. Cool. All right, so let's go with. Oh, I don't have my iPad with me. Let's see. Speak Timer. iOS. Let me see if I can get. Okay, let's see. All right, so this is. Is this the right one? No, it's. Hang on, I'm just a second. Let me plug in my my iPad so we can have a look at the App Store. Sorry, I'm not prepared. All right, I'm back. All right, so we'll do a quick look on the iPad here. Let me get my iOS cable so we can have a quick look. at Dynamic Apps' App Store. So it's much easier to do the search on using the browser for Google Play than it is for, let's go. And if you ever want to record your screen on a Mac, it's much easier to use QuickTime Player than it is like I've used Reflector. I've used all these other different types of stuff. But let's see. So I'm using Mojave here. Let's go to the App Store. And we'll do a search for Speak Timer. Is this it, Dynamic Apps? Yep, okay, cool. So you've got 10 ratings, which is, when it comes to the App Store, I see a lot more apps without ratings at all. Because every time you update, you lose the ratings, or they don't show there. So this looks really good. Straight, simple, but useful. You've got 10 good reviews on there. Blatant copy of the original install timer app. Absolutely useless. So you got some pretty bad ones. Reviews on there. 18 megabytes. Let's see here. Look at these screenshots. Timers deliver customizable speech alerts. Store and run multiple timers at once. I have an app like this. Multiple timers. It was for Android. It was kind of didn't last very long. I don't really think we kept it up. Supports iOS multitasking. View active timers in isolation. Easily take control over the timers by swiping left on them. So here, encouraging speech at regular intervals. Easily reorder timers whenever you want. So I think Dynamic Apps. I think again we talk about you're doing the screenshots, which is good, which says what it does. But you could do something that's a little bit more about the benefits that you get rather than the features. So you say timers deliver customizable speech alerts. So you could do something that's a bit more like, one geared towards cooking, one geared towards feeding the baby, one geared to, I think we did one feeding the baby last week. But you could do one more about the benefits of it, saying, like the Ferris Bueller thing, life moves very fast. There's so many things to keep track of, and it's really tough when you got all these different things going on. Or you have something with the spinning plates and everything like that, saying, there's so much going on. It's so easy to miss it. So you need the easy speech timer. But you could do something like that. The speak timer, you do have a very small. I mean, your title here is it's short, but I think you do have the other part here. Let's have a look at it on. Let's take a look at App Annie, and then we'll go down the list. So all right, so let's have a look at this here. Go to the keywords ASO section here, and so you rank top for Dynamic City, which is a weird one. Let's see. So some of these ones that you would want to do are really hard. Gym timer, focus timer, things like that, because I think it's really difficult, especially with the word timer. You got meditation timers. You got so many different types of timers. If we did a search on, let's do a search on speaking timer. Sorry, speaking tumor, which is not the same. Speaking timer. I can't. I'm really terrible about typing on this thing. Sorry, let me go back to the iPad view here. Speaking timer. So if we do a search on speaking timer, we do see a lot here that already exists. We got the speech timer for Toastmasters, stopwatch simple with voice, talk timer, speak timer. So, and here you are. Here you're. Well, actually, you're not that bad. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're 8th. So you have to think about how can you get it a little bit further up. Maybe you can put a few more keywords in your title and things like that. So that's just off the top of my head. But anybody else has any ideas there, please let us know. Let's see. Sophia said you would say it would cost you about $60 to do that, to mow the lawn, just a rough gauge. Yeah, Sophia, my time, so it would cost about 60 pounds to mow the lawn if I take an hour to do it, because that's the rate that I would charge. So it's more like thinking about how much is my time worth, how much could I be paid for, that kind of stuff. So if my time is worth 60 pounds an hour, then mowing the lawn means I'm a very expensive gardener. That's the logic there. But a lot of the times, and even like as a coder, sometimes it's too expensive for me to code something, because every bit I spend on an application, that increases the cost of the application. So if I could get a developer that could do it for a lot less, then that's better. But yeah, it is thinking about how much is your time worth. We think about it's very easy because it's you, and you know what it's like when you waste time. When you watch television or whatever, you can't be in that thought pattern all the time, but sometimes you really can. Let's see. Flighter1990. Hey Eric. Hey, how's it going? No Name Land says, got 4 of my apps removed today because of Google Play because of missing privacy policy. Updated it, and 2 of them are back already. Yeah, that seems to be happening a lot. In fact, just today I updated a client application that had a problem with Google Play, and it was something that the export to email wasn't working on Android 8 and above. So they just found it. It was already out of warranty. I mean, I did it for months ago, but I thought, okay, I'll do that. Just like as a quick one, we'll just update the libraries and upload it. And then we got the privacy policy, and then all of a sudden it took longer because I had to go back to the client and said, excuse me, saying, do you have a privacy policy and everything? And they sent me a link. We did all that stuff. So that's it. So Sophia, I need a good antivirus for my cold. Yes, I do. Man, you know what? I hate people who complain about colds, because colds are a fact of life, but I haven't had one in over a year, so I think it's just getting used to it. Just that foggy feeling you have in your head in the beginning. Because here's my goal at the moment is I need to lose some weight. So at the beginning of this week, I started my intermittent fasting, and I skipped breakfast, and I ate in this 6-hour window and all this kind of stuff. I was really gung-ho for 3 days, and then I got this cold, and I was like, oh, and then everything just went out the window. So I was really working hard in the gym and all this kind of stuff. So let's see. But then my energy is just gone from about Wednesday. So Dynamic App says, do you have any tips for people finding it though? Okay. The conversion from product page to view downloads is quite high, so that's good. So the problem is low impressions on the App Store. So if it's low impressions, then you have to look at the keywords. You have to think, what are people searching for, and where are you ranking for those? If you're not ranking well for speak timer, then you need to start thinking about maybe speak and timer are not the keywords that you need, especially if it's one word. Nobody's going to search on that, and you also have it in your keywords. So think about some other things that are less crowded and less congested that people might be searching on that could rank better on, because you're ranked number 7, or was it number 7, 6 or 7, and if you are searching for the keywords that we were searching for, you would probably go with the first one, maybe the second one, maybe the third one. So you have to think about what other things are people going to be searching for, because that's the discoverability. You have to think they're gonna discover it. There's 2 ways they can discover it. One is you put it out in front of them, which means you pay for advertisements and you get it out there and put it all over the place, so people who may not even know they need it because they're not even looking for it, that they're going to find it. Number 2 is they know they need it and they're searching for it. So if they know they need it and they're searching for it, and they're searching for keywords and terms that you don't rank well for, then that's not good. You have to think about how can you get in there and how can you rank better for those. And and are there other things that would be searching for that you might be able to rank a little bit higher on? So different combinations of those words. So me saying talking timer was one thing. You got talking timer, speech timer, vocal timer, voice timer, voice stopwatch. Yeah, think about some other things you can, and start looking at how those could work, and start putting those not necessarily in your title, although you can as a subtitle if there's room, but start putting them in the keywords field and just start playing around with those keywords fields. Look at those. So you've released the app and you have 100 characters for keywords. Go through those after it's been out for a while and start searching and going through like the App Annie page and thinking, where do you rank for those keywords? If you rank like number 150, then you need to think about that's not working for you. Maybe you need a different keyword for that one. So just go in, put those keywords into App Annie and see where you're ranking for those now, because they might be far too competitive. So I mean that's just me, but anybody else could pipe in there too. Let's see. Oh, Educate TV. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. Good to see you too. Ultron, warm milk and honey for the cold, buddy. Yeah, I know. It's just Naji Yusuf El Manbi. Eric, I'm a follower for you a long time now, and I was wondering what are some of the niches or app ideas with decent traffic that you found but never developed something for? You know, it's difficult because you look for things that you're interested in. So like we did one of the first applications we did, well, one of the first 10 applications we did was a meditation timer, because I was really big into meditation. I thought people were into meditation, are going to be into it, but everyone else was the same. So there was so many. It was like hardly did very well because it's too crowded. You know, everyone's got the same idea. Everyone's doing what they're passionate about. The same, you can say the same thing about dating apps. You can say the same thing about the Uber apps. You can say there's so many that are very much like the market is very crowded, but that's what they're interested in, so that's what they want to do. And they could do a better, they think they could do a better job of it, and maybe they can, but they have to demonstrate that somehow. Right? If you could find something where people really aren't looking for it, like it's just so unique and so different, but it's also the kind of thing where if you showed it to people, they would be like, oh yeah, you know what, maybe I could use that, right? So nobody, talk about the app Shazam, nobody was going out saying, I wish there was an app where I could just find out what the music is playing. I mean, maybe they were, but it's the kind of thing where even if somebody wasn't looking for that and you showed it to them, they would think, oh, that would be something I should try. The same with Ear Spy, I think, was the same for me, because I thought that would be kind of a cool thing, but it was also had the sex appeal that if you showed it to other people, they would think, yeah, no, I could use that. So let me think. So some other things. I always wanted to do I always wanted to learn Morse code. I thought that would be kind of a cool thing, or something that dealt a lot with privacy. But there's a lot out there, and it's hard to do privacy things. But I would think that something where you can communicate with friends in a secure manner, stuff like that would be good, but not in a creepy way. That's not a really good answer, is it? No Name Lands. Let's see. My Dreams. Hey, how's it going? 20 million views. Cool. Hello, Eric. It's my first game completed, but I have no money to invest on ads, and I'm 16 years old. How can I get more downloads? So My Dreams, you have to think again. As we talk about all the time, you have to think: how are people gonna find it? What will they be looking for? Is your game? Is it the kind of thing which it's very niche, where a certain group of people will be looking for it? If so, what other keywords can you put in there in the search so that what would they be looking for? Think about your users. If it's something that you hope people will just find and then stumble across, like this is one of the things I think about with games, is it's the kind of thing where you just need to get it in front of people, but you have to think, how are they going to find it? Now, if it's very similar to another game, or if you think people who like that game will like this game, then maybe you could try to, you can't use their brand to promote yours officially, but you could try to find some other ways that they're using their keywords, and think about how they're being found and everything too. Or maybe you could get people in the comments to say, and you know, it's difficult to get people to leave reviews of a certain type, but maybe people who like a certain app will like that type of app. So that's, I mean, that's just, I mean, there's just a few ideas. But if you want us to have a look at it, we could probably do that. Don't try fasting, do exercise. Yeah, you know, I did exercise too. I've been going to the gym. I got up Tuesday morning and went for a 5-mile run first thing. It was like 5 a.m. and I was like, oh, that's it, I'm going to be. And I've been going to the gym 5 days a week, except haven't been the last 2 days. But I've been going to the gym 5 days a week, and I've been putting on the muscle, but I haven't been losing the fat, and that's the problem. And my diet has not been really, it's not been really helpful. But you know, I've been taking all the supplements and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Brady Arrow has the same cold. It's a tough one. Yeah, you know what? It really is. And you did a 10-day fast. Is that like a 10-day cold fast? Because I keep thinking I should do that. And the reason I don't do a fast, and this sounds stupid, is because I know everybody around me going, that's a stupid idea. But I think, you know what? I bet I could. I bet I could do a fast. And the longest I've ever fasted was like 1 day. I think it was just 1 day. And then like towards the end of the night, I thought, I'm going to eat something. So, yeah, I don't know if I could do that, Brady. I might be able to do it like if I went on holiday. Actually, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to do it if I went on holiday. I think it's the thing, but yeah, you try something like that. Rusty Mind Studios. Hey, a week ago I added ads remove function. Now I got payment policy issues. Do you have payment policy issues? Do you have any idea what the problem can be? Rusty Minds. I'm not sure what payment policy issues are. You mean like? I mean, I know privacy policy issues. Is that the same? Let's see. Sophia says, speaking of hourly rates, a friend of mine works for a local dev house here. He's been saving them ton of money by outsourcing all their coding and designing work to Indian staff in India. Cool. They work purely through Skype and get paid in rupees at the going local rates there. He's now hiring more project managers to assist him with their ever-growing teams. Seems to work well too. Have you had any experience with such a setup? Not dealing with the actual software house, but simply hiring staff remotely. Yeah, so this is, Sophia, this is like, I prefer to hire people directly because you get to work with the developer. However, sometimes it's easier working with the software house, especially when you get situations where the developer disappears for no reason. You know, this is one thing. If you hire somebody through Upwork or developer directly, it's very stressful when they're not. You don't have a manager to make sure that they're actually showing up to work. But if you can find good people, and this my team, most of my team they work from home, they work remotely, and I just deal directly with them, and I prefer that mainly because my questions are mostly technical, and if I work through a company, a lot of times I will ask technical questions, and the person I'm in contact with can't give me the answers, and I'm like, I'd rather talk to the developers. Well, the developers' English is not very good. Yeah, I know, but your technology skills are not very good. So, that's how it could be. Yeah, as long as you can communicate with them. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. Rodrigo, hey. Late, but I'm still on time. Rodrigo, I've been meaning to talk to you all week. Sorry about that. I'm just because of my cold. I'm just ugh. So I know you sent me a bunch of messages earlier this week. I'll get back in touch with you on that app. A dynamic app says, is there an easy way to update the app's keywords? I know they have to be reviewed, but do I need to submit a new build of the app? What do I say in the updated notes? Thanks for great tips, by the way. So dynamic apps. Unfortunately, yeah, you do have to release the new app, right? And it's so stupid. You have to increment the version number, upload the app, even if you don't change anything. And what do you put for the release notes? We should do a video about this one next. I think I put the same thing for the what's new section every single time. And when I have clients, I go, what should we put in there? Should we put they want to put a detailed list of everything that's changed. And I'm like, no, you put minor enhancements and bug fixes. Don't forget to leave a review. That's the same thing I write every time. Because the user doesn't need to know the details of everything that's changed unless they've been affected by it. Unless it's like such a big change that they're like, oh, it crashes every time I click this certain button. Oh, I'm glad they fixed that, so they'll update it. So when you think about your what's new section, is not necessarily, it's not for the developers, although the developers are the ones who write it. It's for the people deciding whether or not they want to update it, and you want them to update it. So that's why minor enhancements and bug fixes is vague enough to sound like they should update it, but at the same time, it's not too specific. Like if I say, oh, fix the background color or whatever, and they'll think, well, I don't need to update this because it's not necessary unless they don't, so that's what you do. So I type the same things in every time. Minor enhancements and bug fixes. And if the enhancements are you change your keywords, that's fine. That is not for the reviewers. It is not for the developers. It is for the users deciding whether or not they're going to update. So Naji Yusuf Ahmadi says, when I try to do keyword research, I always get stuck in the loop of it had good traffic but little chance, or have good chance but no traffic. I know it is difficult, and you have to think about other ways to do it, because you could be like, you can have a very competitive keyword and do well if you can get the reviews in, but it's a chicken and egg thing. How do you get people to find it and go in and leave reviews and get the downloads if you don't have that? Parash Bot, hey, how's it going, Parash? Dava Patel says, hey Eric, lately hearing so much about Kotlin. So many libraries I use in my apps are migrated to Kotlin. Should I migrate it or stick to Java? Need your views on it. Are you going to migrate yours? I'm probably not going to migrate to Kotlin on mine, but if we do any new stuff, maybe. I don't see a reason to migrate. I think that Java is Java. I mean, Java's not going to be going away anytime soon, right? I think Kotlin is probably better for new projects that are coming on, and if you're going to start something new from scratch. But the same is true for a lot of our existing apps. We have a lot of apps that are in Ionic version 1, and you know, my fear is that at some point we're not going to be able to upgrade those anymore. But until that happens, we're going to stick with version 1. There's no reason to migrate and go through the whole testing cycle again on those, right? And even though we're trying not to do anything new in Ionic except for a few things here and there, we're not doing it. So Shivam, 20 minutes late. Hey, thanks for showing up, Shivam. Shivam Pendy. Do CrossFit. You know what? Okay, so don't laugh at me, right? So I watched this documentary on Amazon. I get these ideas, and I'll this thing on CrossFit, and I thought that would be really cool. I could go up there and flip the tire over and stuff like that, but I've never done that. I just go in and I do like 5 days. I read a book, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger by Michael Matthews, I think his name is. And he's got a whole bunch of books out. So I have the same routine, which is the chest day and whatever. So I have been putting on more muscle over the last year, and which is nice. It's kind of nice. But then, like, luckily my mirror is not a full-length mirror because I got a little belly there too. So, and occasionally I'll catch myself in a video when I turn sideways, like, ooh, yeah, and do something about that. Of course, I still like to eat. You know, I still like, well, you know, if I go back to the States, I have to have Taco Bell. I gotta have Jack in the Box and all that stuff. And, so, and then of course, forget fasting. Tonight is pizza. Yeah. Thanks, Rodrigo. Tonight will probably be pizza or something. Yep. Always hungry. Let's see. Well, fast is fantastic. Brady says fast is fantastic. It's incredible to make it 7 days without eating. The first 2 days are tough. Then it rocks. So Brady. So I went to a Tony Robbins seminar last year. Like Unleash the Power Within. It's the first time I've ever done anything like that, and you meet lots of people. And I was talking to somebody who went to this retreat. It was like a 7-day or 10-day retreat, a fasting retreat, and she was talking about how her relationship with food had changed, and I thought that's great. And and I thought that would be something I'd like to try one day. It's I think it's probably like saying I would like to climb a mountain or something. I'm sure once you're in it, you're like, oh, this kind of sucks. But then you get through it, and it's really good. Like, it sounds good before, it sounds good after, but like in the middle of it, I might not enjoy it. But I keep thinking, yeah, maybe try something like that. Go to one of these really meditation retreats and fast and all that stuff. But I'm not. I still like junk food, and of course, everybody who I tell that to says, "Why don't you just eat less, Eric? Why don't you just eat less?" Because I love to eat. There's always that second portion, and especially like with pizza and stuff like that. So, Rusty Mind Studio says it was a violation of payments policies. I got this one. I've never heard of that violation of payments policies. Is it something to do with? Yeah, I mean, it's if you have the in-app purchases set up, yeah, I've never heard of that. Is it the way that you have your account set up, or is it the things that you're charging for? Data Plus Code. Hey, how's it going? Parash Bot says, any news on native ads on AdMob? It's been forever now. I still haven't tried it yet. Hello, Mr. White. How's it going? Sorry, I know I'm a bit behind on this stuff. Brady Arrow says, do you think Google's similar apps feature is fixed? Have you been affected by this? I sure have. No, you know what? I wasn't. In fact, if anything, I think I've noticed my downloads go up. In fact, this last week, AdMob has been pretty good. I've been getting, I think it was last weekend was the first day in, seems like months, that we made over 100 pounds a day through AdMob. And then it was 80. So it's actually been really healthy this week. And a lot of people said on the channel that it's probably, on our community tab, it's probably because we're on the run up to Christmas. So that should be good. Niraj says, for GDPR, I've created a plugin to help. It helps me to add links, also tell users what permissions we are using. What are you using? I'm still just using the I'm using the GDPR consent plugin on the native Android apps and on excuse me, and on iPhone. That's just for the AdMob stuff. We were using I'd set everything up to go through is it App11? No, not App11. What's the one? Appadeal. I set up through Appadeal, and I used their form, and everybody hated it. I got all these bad reviews, so we just wrote our own to request it, and then pass in the value has user consent through to AdMob. And so, yeah, we just did that for ours. And mainly, I'm just concerned with the ads and stuff like that. So, and I think we... Don't tell anyone, but I don't think we have it in there for all of ours. But I think we have it for most, like the big ones, the ones that actually get downloads. Let's see. Brady says, and following that, are smartphone app installs down in general? Not for me, they haven't. They've actually been pretty good lately. So, but yeah, but that's just me. I'm not sure what's going on with the competition. Although somebody did send me a link. This are like a bunch of examples of the copycats. I think they're getting more brazen, where they're actually using the same slogans and stuff in the apps. Like we have one says, you know, we in the app business. Like we have a splash screen that comes up. We have these little sayings that I came up with a few years ago, which are really pretty corny. But like there's one of the competitor apps have those same expressions in it. Like they're just copying it exactly. And I need to report them, but it's just yeah. I think I'll wait till they get a little bit of critical mass, then I'll report them. But Frank Fox says, "Hey Eric, I really like your channel. Good job overall. Thanks, Frank. How often and when exactly do you show ads in your apps? I noticed with most download games that they don't show ads in the first minutes. I show them pretty much not instantly, but I show them on certain key points. So, like initially, I was doing it where they don't see it the first time they open the app, maybe the second time. And it was like every fourth open, I would show the ads, and I wasn't making any money. And then somebody from AdMob gave me he downloaded it. He had this consultation, and he says, "I noticed you're not showing any interstitial ads." I had banners, but he said, "I know you're not showing any interstitial ads," and I was like, I am, but it's every fourth open, right? The reality is that not everybody was doing 4 opens. They were trying it out maybe once or twice, so we started putting in there a lot more often. And I just have it, right now I have it on certain points where, on certain actions, and then I have it throttled through the AdMob settings, so I think it's only 2 per minute or something like that. So it's not like every time they do it, they hit it. So I prefer to do that, because that way I can throttle it back if I need to, or increase it if I need to. Dava Patel says, I was having decent downloads per day in one of my apps. Then the Play Store removed it for not providing privacy policy. Now, even after updating it, I don't get much downloads as I used to before. Any suggestions? I don't know. I mean, so if you go into if you know what people are searching for, do you know, is there something else that's taken that spot? I mean, are there certain keywords that people were using to find it to begin with? And if so, where were you then as to where you are now? If you were, like, let's say for me it would be spy tools or something like that. Like I could go in there and say, I could go into my acquisition report. I could see how many organic downloads I've had for a certain key phrase, and then if my downloads go down, I could take it. I could look at that in App Annie and see where was I ranking for that before, and where was I ranking afterwards, and then I could also see who's ranking higher than that, and then you could start to see the patterns in there. Why did they take over your top spot, and so forth, and you know, I mean, I think it's very difficult to say without having a close examination of it. But I mean, I think that's where I would start. I would start at the acquisition report, because now that they have those organic downloads, you can see what keywords people were actually finding to get to your app. Now you can start to reverse engineer the whole process. You know, what were they searching on to get to your app before this, and after this, and then you can think what's changed. Has your ranking changed? And if your ranking has changed, why has it? You can start to make assumptions as to why it's changed. You don't know exactly, but you can start looking at has there been a new competitor that's entered the scene that's taken over that spot? You can start doing some searches on it. Like for me, spy was always the keyword. So if you type spy into Google Play, my app EarSpy would always come up first. Now it comes up second in the UK. So it's kind of like, it's not that, I mean, it's not that bad because it's still good, but my assumption, because I didn't have the organic reports before, was that was what people were searching on. But now I can see what they're actually searching on, which is that, you know, spy apps and EarSpy. So let's see. FTTX, you have to focus on why it is that you eat, and the answer is to survive. There are other ways to have fun. See, I agree with that. However, I also, you know, the sad truth is that the reason I eat is because it's lunchtime, right? Like thinking, if I skip lunch, then I might be hungry at 3 or 4, and then I eat then, and then I'm not hungry for dinner. So I'm trying to get away from that, and I'm trying to skip certain meals and stuff. And even though every time I say I'm doing that, people roll their eyes like, you know, Eric's got one of his things again. By the way, I research things on YouTube or online or read a book, and I'm full on for like a week or two, and yeah, I jump from one fad to the next, and that's why people roll their eyes when I say things. But you know, but yes, I agree with you. I do need to think why you're hungry. So I have to think, like even today I was thinking I'm not really hungry, but should I have lunch? And I'm thinking I have the live stream tonight. I don't want to be complaining about being hungry on the live stream, so I did go out and get a sandwich. And but you know, because I don't want to be sitting here like, you know, thinking about food. Although I do notice, like when I do fast for a day, and I've only done it for a day. I wish I could go 10 days like you do, Brady. So was it Brady? So I wish I could go like 10 days, but you know, or 7 days. But I've been able to go 1. So, and a lot of it is just family time. You know, you sit down to eat dinner with the family, and that's an important time to me because I'm going to catch up with everybody. And I know if I sit down with them, I'm not going to be able to just not eat. Let's see. Josh, oh, sorry, did I miss something here? Okay. The Engine says, my AdMob revenue is also very good compared to previous months, around 30%, maybe 20%, not 30%. True Dreams, hey, how's it going? Nice you can make it. Josh Schwartzberg says, how do you do research to decide which app you want to make next? So, a lot of it is, I mean, a lot of the apps that we've done is just been thinking about, yeah, like, I think about if we have an idea that we want to pursue. So there's some that I've done, I've had an idea, and then we go through, the last one we did was actually, we never finished it. So it was something that I commissioned to do. I got a developer on who's working on it. We get a certain way down the road, but it was kind of like I'm pouring too much money into this, and it's just taking too long. So I'm thinking the risk and the investment, the investment and the risk. If it's something like we're taking an existing app that we have and we're altering it to a new market and reskinning it a little bit, that's a much lower risk, because then we could just make a few changes here and there, make some design changes, try to put it out there for a new market. Or if it's something that's just fun to work on, something that I like to work on. But I think for me, a lot of the times, if it's me coding it, I'm thinking what would be fun to do, just because because you're putting all your time into it. If it's something I'm getting my developers to work on, it is, yeah, I mean, it's more of a gut feel, and it's like you do the thing you want to do, and then you back it up with logic afterwards. Like, I don't go and look at the market and think of all these different niches, and then think, we're going to do that one. We're going to do a garbage disposal or whatever, because there's loads of things to think about. But I might think, I'm interested in this, and then you look at it and try to justify it. So doing the meditation timer app was a bad idea, because there were so many other apps out there. There was no way that we were going to do very well with it. And you know, and there's also lots of people, they'll see an app that's existing and they want to do that thing too, and because it's already too crowded. So it's not a very good answer. Sorry about that, Josh. But it's always, for me, it's a gut feel to begin with, and I think we can. Rodrigo says, Eric, if they copied those corny phrases, report them now. Don't wait. It's your revenue going down. Yeah, I mean, I need to do it. I mean, it's a pain to go through and fill in the forms, because it's the first time I reported one of the copycat apps, I just said, hey, this app, they're copying mine, and then they came back. The first time they removed the other app. The second time they said, we've denied your request. And then I had to go through and did screenshots of both of them and said, here's mine, here's theirs, look at this exactly. They're even using, you know, sometimes it's more blatant than others. Sometimes the icon is really similar. Let's look now. Let's take a look at the copycats. Since we're on the live stream, let's go to play.google.com. I will search on my current app name, Ear Agent. Here we go. Overpass, Ear Agent, Superhero. Okay, so let's have a look. Ear Agent, Superhero, exact same name. Right? Mixer Studio, if you're watching, yes, I'm calling you out. So here we go. Mixer Studio, Ear Agent, Super Hearing. The app attempts to do that. If we go read more, he's copying. Note on reviews. Please leave reviews. If you hate, leave reviews. Okay. Let's do a split screen if we can. Oh, Mojave. Let's show you the kind of stuff that you guys will be up against if you have a successful app. So let's do that. Air and Mixer Studio. If you're watching, I hope you're watching, because you have to go soon. And you know, if you're a fan and just think, oh, this is working for Eric, I'm going to do it too. So let's go Ear Agent. So here's mine. It's been out since 2012. Here's theirs. Been out since who knows when. So I've moved mine from medical into communication just because of that. So they've taken the same black and red. They put 2018 there. Who knows why? Maybe because that's why. The app doesn't look the same. We have a lot more. Let's look at the description here and look at their description. So note, this is not a surveillance device. It augments your hearing only. Note, this is not a surveillance device. It augments your hearing only. This is the kind of stuff I have to show to Google Play. Note on reviews. Please review the app. I know you hate leaving reviews, so if you can't think of anything to say, just say rad, or if you love it, say bogus. I used to say the same thing in the video, and here we go. Note on reviews. If you don't like it, say rad, just say bogus. This is the kind of stuff that we deal with on a regular basis. So I need to go through. Oh, excuse me. I need to go. I'm getting all excited. This is the kind of stuff I need to do. So there's other ones too that are less blatant than that, and I do have to go through and fix them. And some of them just look cheap. So let's see. What are they copying here? Questions and answers. No, theirs might be a little bit more different, but they are copying the same ones. And it's the black and red. It's the whole thing. You know, the icon that I designed myself using, I think it was Paint Shop Pro back in 2012 that they took, and we've got all the other stuff there. So those are the copycats. Let's see. True Dream says, Eric, my uninstalls rates are higher than the install rates. Is that okay? It's for me. I mean, everyone keeps talking about retention. They say, Eric, how can your app be successful if you don't have good retention? And they keep going on about it. And I'm thinking, well, because I'm making money from it, right? I'm sure if my retention was better, that would be better. But it's difficult to force people to keep your app installed, right? It's difficult unless you have something in there when they look at it, they think, oh, this is much better than I thought it would be, but we're delivering what we said we would deliver, and they give it a try and think, oh, I like it or I don't like it. They either keep it or they uninstall it. So Oh yeah, so Rodrigo says get your VA to do it. So yeah, that's what we were doing. Oh, that's what we were doing last year. We were like once a week we were reporting everybody, but we haven't done yet. So it's just so you can see how bad it is. I mean, when I talk about copycat, some people think like some people say that guy copied my idea, and you look at it, you think, well, yeah, it's kind of the same. It's similar. You know, there's Coke, there's Pepsi. You know, they're trying to improve on something, and there's other times where they're literally trying to confuse users to thinking it's exactly the same. So yeah, I know Mixer Studio may be watching, or somebody's telling them, so they may go and change all that stuff. But that's the kind of stuff I'm going to report on them. So sorry about that. Oh yeah, let's see. True Dream says, Eric, on AdMob for 74 rewarded ads, impressions, 24 interstitials, impressions, I only got 3 cents. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, sometimes it can be really bad. It depends on the location, too. So, you know, there's the different things we talk about. We talk about the RPM is affected not just by the type of ads, but also where they're being served. If your user base is in India, they have a lower RPM than they do in the US, for example. Is it really low? It seems really low to me. Sophia says, I can make a Bueller Quotes app if you have an affinity for them. I do. It's one of my favorite movies. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies ever because I'm a child of the 80s, and I just, you know, I do. So, Niraj says, I did 3-day water fast, but one day dry fast was equal to 3 days water fast without bath, brushing teeth. Oh, really? Wow. So, there's a dry fast? I never even heard of that one. So, Base Boosted Zodiac says, hello, what ad provider should I use? I've got banned from AdMob twice. I think you should stop using AdMob then if somehow you're getting banned from them. I would go for, I mean, it depends on where your users are. If they're US-based users, I would go with Facebook Audience Network because you have to play around with it. I talked about the ones that I've used. I've used MobFox, AppLovin, Facebook Audience Network. I've used, God, I guess Smato. There's another one. I mean, there's so many out there, but you just try it, and a lot of them are gonna change depending on what the majority of your users are. Rodrigo says my revenue is like a third of what it used to be, but with a quarter of the downloads. Oh well, that's good then. At least you're going up. No Name Land says, do you think the amount of apps removed on Google Play can have influence on the AdMob rates since there is less installs showing ads? Yes, I do think so. I think because you're talking about the inventory. If I go out there and I place an ad, then I could do a really low CPM rate or a really low CPC rate, and depending on how much places they could show it, they could be showing it on an app that gets hardly any downloads somewhere, and if I have a really low bid rate because there's less of it. So if there's smaller real estate, there's less supply for the demand, if you know what I mean. So they would have to pay more, because if you'll see this, if you go through and create an ad and you put like like you say I put my cost per click at 1 cent, you won't get any reviews. I did that earlier this week. We started some ads on YouTube, which it's only in the UK. You guys won't see it probably unless you're in the UK. But sorry about my cough. But I put it for like 10 cent cost per click, right? No impressions at all for 2 days, and I upped it to 20 cents, no impressions, up to 30 cents. I started getting impressions. If I wanted to show up a lot, I would put like $1 or something like that. But you know, it's based on that kind of stuff. So, the engine. This copycat is amazing. He's good, isn't he? He's good. You know, I think it's funny because the copycats, they annoy me, and part of me is like, I need to go through and nip this in the bud, but they just keep popping up. It's just over and over and over again. So usually what I'll do is I'll email them first and say, you need to remove this, or I'm going to report it, and or you need to change it. You know, it's ridiculous, and it's obviously doing well. So actually, let's go. So if I go back to that one, let's go back to that stupid. And what I keep looking at here. So yeah, let's go back to this screen. Let's say they have over 1,000 installed, so that's not really. I'm not too worried about that just yet, but perhaps I should be. And I love. Oh, this is the bit I love about. Every time I go look at it, I love the fact that the top one, at least in the UK, the English-speaking ad review here says, "Why are you ripping off Overpass apps? Your product looks decent." Blah blah blah. So I think yes, thank you, whoever left that Google user. I appreciate that. So, yeah, they're just really different. So, Sophia says, what about War Games? War Games is, you know what? War Games is so old. When you like to play a game, I watch Ferris Bueller. I see Ferris Bueller all the time, and I think it's a great film. But War Games, I think, is too old, especially for technology people like us. We think, oh yeah, you know what? But there's one thing that War Games taught me, Sophia, which is cloud computing is dangerous. You know, because there was like. I remember thinking as a kid, I remember thinking as a little kid, not knowing anything about computers, why would you be able to dial into Joshua if he can start the nuclear holocaust? You know, like, why would you put that online? And now you see it all the time. You see like all these major systems vulnerable to attack because of some cloud-based API. You think, why would they make that online? Let's see. If we add a privacy policy only in Play Console and not in app, then it is removed for not by Google Store. It can be. It should be in the app too, but they probably won't catch it initially. So I mean, that you should put that on your path of your upgrade path that you're going to go through and add it there too. You know, unless somebody goes through and reports it, or they go through and they do it automatically. So we've added it in ours, just for that reason. Rodrigo says, I'm going to make an app called Overpass Corny Quotes with an emoji in the name. There's not that many corny quotes. Sophia says, the idea about trademark rules in the stores, a client registered their TM in 2013, but there was already an app that uses that name in 2010. Seems a first use policy gives them the right to use. Yeah, I think about that a lot. I've never got a trademark on my names. I've just never gone through the whole process. And a lot of people say, have you gone and got a patent, or you done all that stuff? And there's like a lot of legal expense to do something like that. And it's just, yeah, so I've never gone down that way. Elcyro187 says, do you use IntelliJ or Android Studio for developing Android apps? I use IntelliJ, and the only reason I do is because we use WebStorm a lot for hybrid apps. So because I did the WebStorm, and I wanted to, I got the annual subscription, so that I got all the other IntelliJ or all the other JetBrains tools. And because I had IntelliJ, I thought I would just use that. Now every so often you'll find some tutorial or some new plugin that it works really well in Android Studio but not in IntelliJ, and that's kind of annoying. But when it comes to doing stuff like Flutter, I like using IntelliJ. And I just like the fact that I can switch from that to WebStorm back and forth. I mean, it's the same shortcuts and everything. And there's even a Objective-C IDE called AppCode, which I've used a little bit, but a lot of times I think the Xcode keeps advancing further on that. And when you go from JetBrains tools to Xcode, it's very jarring because a lot of it doesn't quite make much sense to me. The shortcut keys are all different and everything. But yeah, the only reason I use IntelliJ is because I paid for it, and it's like I hate the idea of it going to waste. But yeah, but I think it works pretty much the same. I mean, I don't think I gain anything by using IntelliJ. Shokat Javed says, why now these days too much apps removed from Play Store due to made for ads? Why they not at time of release? I think it's probably, I worry about this sometimes. If I think sometimes they have a public perception view. If there's ads out there, if there's an app that's all it seems to do is to serve ads, and it's not really good for Android. You know, I'm sure the Android platform wants to be seen as have as much quality as Apple does, and we're starting to see them being a lot more. I mean, we're hearing about a lot more apps being removed and a lot more apps being rejected initially on updates, because you have to make these changes. And I think that's because they're trying to improve the quality on the Google Play Store. And there's also, I think that's probably the reason why we got this Target version 26, which I still need to do for loads of people. And it's because I think they're just trying to increase the quality of it. That's one. I mean, that's one thing about the Apple App Store. They're a pain, but at least you know that the app's going through. Somebody's looking at them. Yeah, you can't just put some rubbish out there where you can with Google. So. Sophie says, well, as a fan, Joshua wasn't really online. It was a backdoor. I know. Well, you it still wasn't. It should have been in a closed system. Rohit says, hey, Eric, can you talk a little bit about licensing of IP like characters and stuff? Do you have any idea how that works? For example, Kabam and Marvel. Is it a one-time licensing fee or a revenue? I don't know. I've never actually approached anybody and asked to do the licensing for them, or if we could use their license. And I'm also been very, like, I've never released anything that deals with copyright. One thing that we did do was we did this quiz game, and we had so we made it like a framework so we could do lots of different quizzes. And the second one we did was Academy Awards, so I thought we would have the Academy Awards quiz, so you could do that, because I've known a lot of people in the early days that would have these quiz apps. So I thought, well, we could do that. It'd be nice. Just get something out there, see how it does. And I didn't know that the Academy Awards or the Oscars was trademarked. So we did the TM on it, and I think that never went on to Apple. Apple wouldn't accept it because it was trademarked. And but I have seen a lot of stuff like Walking Dead quiz on Apple and stuff like that. People just put a lot of stuff out there, and they do that on Google Play even more so. But you'll see Google Play rejecting it, and I've had apps removed from Google Play and approved by Apple, and you would think that Apple would be the ones who would say, hey, this is too similar to another app, but they don't. They let it go through. So let's see. So I'm afraid, Rohit, I don't know very much about the license. I wouldn't even know who to contact, although it would be interesting. And I would think that, I've always just assumed that it would be prohibitively expensive. Like, say, hey, can I use this character in my app? And they would say, yeah, sure, it would just cost you, $30,000 a year or something ridiculous like that. But I don't know. I mean, I would think, so, I'm not really sure. Dava Patel says, I hope one day the Play Store removes all copycats and our real apps start to get more downloads and revenues. Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the App Store as opposed to online is that there is an authority to go to. I mean, I can go to Google Play and report them, and they're usually really good about removing them. So it's not like if it was like a website. If I had a website and there was another website that was they were just copying it just like that, then there would be nobody I could go to. It would just be, maybe I can go to Google and get them removed from the search, but I can't get the website removed. So that's just so at least that's something. Movie Fun Clip says, sir, I am your big fan. Hey, thanks. And I have an app idea for which I think we could work together in the future. So firstly, I complete Java and other languages. Then I contact you. My name is Samir Khan. Please remember me. Okay, yeah, I mean, we're not really partnering on very much at the moment, but I mean, I'm sure there's loads of developers out here I'm sure you could work with that could do the iOS side. And True Dream says, hey, Eric, you're a big motivation for me. Thanks for making videos. You inspire me a lot. Thank you. Thanks, True Dreams. This week with my energy level, I've done the videos last couple days. I haven't done one today yet. But it's like, it's some days are better than others, but we'll keep going. Right now, we're so close to 500. I think we're so close to episode 500. That'll be fun. Although I don't have anything special planned for 500. So I got to think of something. I think we got a couple weeks. So, cool. Have I answered all the questions? It's only been an hour. Don't type any more questions in. I've already answered all the questions. Do you think I'm... Cool. All right. Well, hey everybody. Thanks for all the information about fasting. I'm gonna give that a try. Although not tonight because it is takeaway night, and this cold. All I want to do is eat and sleep. I've had on Wednesday when I got the cold the first day, I had 3 naps in the day, and I've had a nap in the office. And there's like this big window here. There's a window on the door, and I like lay down on the floor, just like went to sleep for like 20 minutes. Keep setting my timer, think I'll feel so much better after I have a nap. So that's it. So let's see. So everyone, thank you very much. Take care now. Go get some rest. Thanks, Devel Patel. Any plans on creating tutorials for indie devs? No, because here's the thing, Devel, is there's so many good tutorials out there that I'm intimidated because I know if I did a tutorial on anything, like I know that there would be better resources out there, like because a lot of the coding I do is I'm trying to move away from coding a little bit, so I still do some, but I would think that like you could find like a really good hardcore developer who could do that part of it, like the more technical side of things. So that's just my opinion. And I know if I put my big fear is if I put a tutorial out there, you guys would all say, "Man, Eric doesn't know what he's doing," but I do. Because I want to do the tutorial well. So, anyway, let's see. Thanks. Enjoy the evening. Thanks, Sona Manland. Thanks, Devel. Thanks, Rohit. You guys all have a great weekend. Sophia, amazing internet connection we're having. I'm feeling raspy itch in the back of my throat now. I hope you didn't catch this. That's a really good internet connection, but I'm going to get the antivirus like you said. Everyone, thank you very much. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the week ahead. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the daily video, and I'll talk to you guys next week on the live stream. All right, have a good week. Sorry, I know you guys can still hear me, but I'm still coughing. Taking this blindfold off to see what this life's all